The Atmos air conditioner has a locked rotor amp rating, LRA, of 48.5 amps off of 120 VAC utility power. This translates to 5820 watts or approximately 450 amps of inrush current to start the compressor off battery. This high inrush current is going to cause problems for a lithium battery to supply.
Oh yeah, there was the spike times 2.
Installing a soft start on the Atmos air conditioner is the only way to dampen the huge inrush current required by the compressor to start.
Go home and study this footage and see what I learned from it. Okay, there's 10 screws. I've already removed all of them except for this one. So you remove the 10 screws around the cover. This Atmos 4.4 air conditioner cover is much heavier and much more secure than the Dometic Penguin 2 ever was, but to get it off after you remove the screws, you have to lift it up off the back till it clears up here in the front, and then you push it forward, pop it off. That design keeps the cover on very securely, so if some screws came out or something, it's not going to fly off on the highway or anything. Okay, so now what we're dealing with is this area over here. This is the wiring cover for the Atmos. And there's the wiring diagram that is on the cover, which clearly shows that this just has a compressor, a run capacitor, and 2 fan motors. So there isn't a soft start installed on the Atmos. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to install a SoftStartRV on this Atmos 4.4 air conditioner. To remove this cover, it's just 2 screws. Very snug fit, but it does slide off. And it's also heavy plastic. And again, as you can see, this big silver thing right here is the run capacitor. So we're going to be attaching the soft start to these connections. And what we are going to be doing is following, this is the compressor wiring, and if you were to take this cap off, you'd see there's three colored wires under here. Blue.
This is the compressor wiring, blue, red, and yellow.
Blue, red, and yellow. So we're going to be following this wire, the cover for the 3 wires coming off the compressor, and as you can see, there they are. Blue, yellow, and red. So we're going to be working with those. And in fact, you follow it up, and this is the blue wire. This first one is the blue wire that gets traced back, and then this is the yellow wire that gets traced back. But I've got to cut these zip ties and open this up so we can see what we're doing.
Here's the wiring diagram I created to wire the SoftStartRV into the Atmos air conditioner.
Okay, so you'll need a pair of needle nose pliers so you can pull off the blue wire and the yellow wire from the run capacitor. But the SoftStartRV kit comes with a whole bunch of connectors, zip ties, pretty much everything you need. You just need, to crimp the ends on where you need them. And for the Atmos, I'm actually using Wago connectors for the red and the brown wire. And there you can see I have the wire in the connector. So these are 221 412s. And then I have a female spade connector on the black. I have a male on the blue. And I have what's called a piggyback, which is a female and a male on the yellow. I'm also planning to mount the SoftStartRV on the cover like this. So I've already run the wires down around this wire bundle so I can run it on around here, and then I want to come up through this wire area and then let it fall across and just close the cover on top of it in that area. So I will get my wires pulled around and get set up to do what I'm going to do. So the very first connection that we're going to make is on this yellow. I've already loosened it, but we're basically going to take this yellow wire, which you can see it traces back right here. It traces back to the three wires that are coming from the compressor. So we unplug this first yellow wire, and then I'm going to be hooking it on this piggyback and plugging it back in. So I'll come back and show you that. So there you have that. You can see, it's kind of hard to see, but I've got the piggyback on and that's connected. Okay, so the next connection we're going to make is we're going to remove this blue Atmos wire, and we're going to plug this blue soft start wire to it, and then we're going to plug the black soft start wire onto the terminal that I just removed it from. So I'll do that and come back. Okay, so I have the black wire plugged where the blue wire was, and I have the blue soft start wire connected to the blue compressor wire. And like I said, you can see it. It's running right there. All right, so I'll be taping that up with electrical tape just to make that a nice seal. So then the last thing we're going to do is we are going to cut this red compressor wire, and we're going to attach the brown wire to the compressor side and the red wire to the other end that's plugged into another connection way in there. Now I suppose I could just unplug that and put the matching connectors onto that and plug it in, but I'll see which way is easier to do it. I think just cutting and using the Wago connector up here where I can reach it is probably the way I'm going to go. Okay, so as I said, I used my Wago connector to plug the red wire that's going to the compressor to the soft start brown wire, and then plug the other half of the what was connected to the compressor, the Atmos compressor red wire, to the red soft start wire. I found it easier just to cut it and use the Wagos than trying to stick my hand way down there and pulling it off its terminal. I think that's just going to be too difficult because your hand is too big for that area. Anyway, okay, so like I said, I'm going to tape this off. I'm going to put all these wires down, zip tie them, put everything back nice and neat, put some covering back over on this so it seals in place, and then I can get the cover back on and see how I'm going to secure all the wiring, and then put the cover back on and stick the soft start to the cover, and then I can test it. Okay, I decided to put, I'm going to put a little tape on these Wago connectors just to make sure their little flippers stay down. That's taped up. Now I'll button this back up. Okay, so I've got that all tidied up. Got some zip ties. I'm ready to put my lid back on. Okay, and I zip tied the cord up nicely. I haven't stuck this down, but I think I'm going to stick it right here. It should be a good place. One tip I do want to give you is be very careful. I cut myself quite a bit on those cooling pins. They're super sharp, so keep your hands away from that or you're going to get cut up. Okay, it's all stuck down. Now ready to test. Okay, you can turn it on.
It's not turning on.
It takes a minute. You can turn the temperature down. You can turn the temperature down. Like to 65. Okay, start it up. Now, in the video, the green light it's flashing, but in real life it is not flashing. So it's something about the LED light on the camera. So it's a solid green light. It's not a flickering green light, and that's how you know you've wired up the SoftStartRV correctly. And here is the compressor. So it is running. Now, SoftStartRV says to run your air conditioner about a half an hour, and you want to set it at a setting that is just a little bit below ambient temperature, because you want the air conditioner to cycle on and off. And you can see there's two fans in this Atmos. They're both spinning. Okay, so I can button this back up because everything's working just fine. And we are going to let it run for 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Like I said, set it to a temperature so it can just cycle on and off, because that's how it learns the operation of this particular air conditioner. And then the soft start is will then reduce the amp spike.
The soft start effectively reduces the Atmos's Locked Rotor Amp rating, or LRA rating, from 48.5 amps to something less than 25 amps, and just under 3,000 watts.
So you can see the tabs on the front here of this air conditioner hood. So we want to make sure they get locked in on the front. Put the cover on and you feel where those tabs are, and then you feel where there's a corresponding opening, and you push the tabs. There you have it. Once you get the front, those little tabs, there's a mating opening on the bottom of the Atmos frame. So once you get the tabs from this hood in that, then you saw it just dropped down. Okay, so now I'll just go back around and put my 10 screws. I got 4 screws on each side and 2 screws back here. So I'm going to go around and put those on, and we're done.
You can hear how quiet the Atmos runs now that we have the cover back on.
Okay, there's the 2 screws for the back. And then here are 4 screws down the side, and we have the same 4 screws on the other side.
So now the soft start has reduced the Atmos's amp requirements to start the compressor to a number less than 25 amps offshore power, less than 225 amps off of battery, and less than 3,000 watts. So now I'm going to show you what the Atmos startups look like for the heat pump mode first, and then for the cool mode. I'm operating the Atmos off of a Xantrax 3,000 watt Freedom XC Pro inverter, powered by a single Lithionics 315 amp hour battery, lithium battery.
This is heat.
So for purposes of the video, they're sped through the cycle until we're to the point where it's going to start ramping down and the fan will go into a low speed, and then it ultimately turns off to complete the cycle. So this completes my Atmos testing after the soft start installation. Everything is working exactly as it should. I no longer see any sort of amp spikes. So the soft start is doing exactly what I needed it to do, which was to reduce the high locked rotor amperage, or the amount of amperage required to start the compressor, which was at about 450 amps before we added the soft start, and that's off lithium battery. And now after we've added the soft start, that spike has been reduced to a number well under 25 amps because the highest amperage I saw on the 2 cycles was about 131 amps. So that's exactly what we wanted it to do. Now a lithium battery has no problem supplying that kind of amperage, even if it demands up to the 25 amps, which is about 230 amps, which that isn't a problem either for plus 300 amp hour lithium battery bank that is paired with a 3,000 watt inverter. So this completes our testing. The soft start is a success. I hope this video is helpful.